Hello and welcome to Jupiter in Scorpio, everybody. And this is Raising Vibrations, Simon speaking here, and I hope you're well. Today's video, as I said, is Jupiter in Scorpio, and in particular, Jupiter through the houses. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what Jupiter can symbolize for you, where it is transiting through your house, so your natal house placement, okay? So before I get into that information and talk a little bit about the nature of Jupiter and Scorpio, I feel that there are some things that I just need to clarify for everybody so that you can interact with this video in a way that really allows you to, get the depth of what this transit's going to be bringing for us and how this transformation is taking place for us, okay? So the first thing that I want to highlight is that I recently did a 3-month astrological forecast. This 3-month astrological forecast is the framework behind this video and the other video that I created, which was Mars and Venus conjunction through the houses, okay? Both of those videos are on my YouTube channel, the most recent ones. Both of them will be linked in the description and the comments below. And I highly encourage you to watch all of those videos, okay? For this reason. I felt that when we're going through this like huge initiation of truth and the mutation that's taking place for us right now on the planet, the nature of Jupiter going into Scorpio and its connections to Neptune, and of course the progressive square that will be taking place, square to the nodal axis against Leo and Aquarius. I think that's sometime in January or February. But as I said, the trines Neptune, all the aspects that Jupiter's making at this point, okay? And then of course we had a new moon, or a full moon, sorry, take place on the 6th of October and 2017. And that was actually with the new full moon in Aries. Pluto went direct. And we also had a very significant event that occurred. And that was Mars and Venus, which is our personal relationship planets, okay, form a new phase conjunction, okay? Now, again, if you don't know what new phase means, in the video, I explain that pretty well. But very simply, they formed this new phase conjunction. And it basically meant that every single one of us on the planet, relative to our own personal astrology chart, and also from a collective perspective, have now reached a point in which the old psychological and emotional complexes that were of the past are no longer going to be supported anymore. And that with this new phase conjunction that took place there on that full moon, we began to explore a new way of being that is immensely fresh, that is not understood yet. We're just kind of like floating around, trying these new dynamics out, being exposed to new things. And so the connection of Jupiter and Scorpio, this new phase conjunction between Mars and Venus and this 3-month forecast, will really help you put together how this great mutation is going to be taking place for you towards the end of December, actually, when Saturn moves into Capricorn. Venus makes its final exit out of Sagittarius, and of course Mars connects with Jupiter in Scorpio. So these are really, really big astrological alignments that are going to be taking place, that are in the archetypes of metamorphosis, okay? So watch the video, the Mars and Venus. Where is it in your birth chart? The way that you go and find that out is you go to astro.com and you look for your birth chart. You put in the house system Porphyry. That's my preference. As an evolutionary astrologer, we use Porphyry. And find where your astrology chart is. As I said, put the house system in and get the degrees. So look where Jupiter is. Put transiting Jupiter in Scorpio. Where's Jupiter landing in your house, right? Is it in your 3rd house? Is it in your 4th house? And then use these videos as a reference point to try and understand where these complexes and dynamics are going to be changing for you, okay? All right. Now that we've made that super clear, Also, if you would like me to do a chart synthesis for you, if you would like me to do a 35-minute MP3 or MP4 chart illustration on these transits, I do offer this service. And I go through thoroughly how these transits are working. So you can actually go ahead and check out where that's existing. Again, in the comments, I'll put my website, or just contact me. Just say, hey, I'd like to set up a 35-minute MP3 reading. I'd be happy to do that. Or if you want to meet me and book a personal consultation where we go through these astrological transits, I'd be happy to offer that service as well for you, okay? Right. So, Jupiter through Scorpio. What are we dealing with here? Again, in the 3-month forecast, I go deeply into the nature of Jupiter as an archetype and Scorpio as an archetype. But for this video, I'll make it out, outlining it here, okay? Jupiter through Scorpio to me represents the period of time in which we are going to either commit to the timelines of personal and psychological and emotional growth, okay, where we're going to step into our empowerment. What does it mean to be truly authentic to ourselves? What is the correct process that life has presented to us? And what is our life process? You see, each of us has a life process, and this can be identified as the experiences and journey that you as a human being go on. And so by understanding this core concept, you can really get to a place within yourself of saying, okay, I'm here on earth. I am born into this social economic structure. I'm born into this family dynamic. I've got these karmic complexes. And my job, my role is to form a relationship to these experiences as a way of deepening my connection to earth, deepening my connection to my physical form, my body. What is my life process? What have I come to unfold in this lifetime? These are not like, random thought processes or philosophical belief systems that I feel that are true. You can look deep into nature to understand how the flower of a rose, how it's very contracted right in the beginning of its life. And then as it matures, it begins to open up until it's in full bloom. And then at some point, once the full bloom and maturity has experienced a period of time of display, the petals start to fall. The dying process begins. This is no different to the human experience. We, as a living organism, are not in any way whatsoever excluded from these dynamics. It's just that up until this point in time, we really haven't fully connected to the depth of what it means to truly be human. And from the perspective of what is consciousness and life force moving through us, and how does that connect with our overall growth process, and what does that mean for our life path? And we search for it on a deep level. We search for this. We look at different forms of studies to understand this, through occult knowledge, through astrology, through anything that's going to objectify our inner reality and how that is unfolding for us. We're going to attach or osmose with. It's just that right now, where we are right now, this is a process of realizing what it means to be human from the context of what is our collective imprinting like on our psyche? What has our individual imprinting been like on our psyche? And how does that influence whether we are able to live our lives or not, to fulfill those dreams, to fulfill those aspirations, to fulfill the meaning and purpose that we feel are destined for this life? And so with Jupiter in Scorpio, there's now this potential for Jupiter to move through Scorpio and to bring a very, very powerful set of belief systems, or should I say like experiences, that's really going to regenerate you. Now, I think it's really important to tie in Saturn's transit through Scorpio from 2012 up until 2015, because Saturn's transit through Scorpio really brought to us an intense amount of material to the surface. And it was a very intense time. Now that Jupiter's moving into Scorpio, I feel that this is an opportunity to expand upon the framework that was laid out when Saturn was in Scorpio. So this is where the opportunity that I feel here with Jupiter and Scorpio is to take the framework that was laid with Saturn and begin to build the structure that supports the overall cosmology, the overall sense of enthusiasm and purpose and meaning that you feel that you've come to experience your life. Now that you've got that framework with Saturn, now there's a belief system that can really go and feel that, can go, what is this about? What is my life about? And Jupiter's all about taking risks. It's all about being given the opportunity to expand yourself. And the way that you do that is by growing, is by trusting something, is by investing in something that's going to grow you, you know. And Jupiter always favors in that sense. There's always a great abundance that comes our way if we're willing to see it and take the leap of faith, as it were. So I call this video the initiation into truth, exposing a belief of self-deception. And I think that this is a really powerful statement, to be honest. I originally had a flower that was busy unfolding when I did this graphic art for this front page. But over the time, it kind of matured into something a little bit more different for me. I don't want to create this essence that Jupiter and Scorpio is about, this dark, eerie, shadowy, going into the surface, Halloween type of experience. In fact, I want to go the other way around. I want to actually say that this is a wonderful opportunity for expansion and growth and mutation to take place. And if we are able to see beyond the psychological and emotional attachments that are linked with the past as the cycles of that needing to die out as they've run their course, then what we actually have here is this beautiful opportunity to express the color and see the fabric of our beingness. And it's about seeing more color. It's about being able to be more alive. It's about being able to feel more connected and committed and trusting to life and to see the adventure. So that's how I see this Jupiter and Scorpio symbolism. And, you know, to me, the art kind of carries it. It's a very intense energy, but it's also, you know, able to really bring us to seeing things not in a dark and Scorpio and intense way, but more in a sense of like rejuvenation. Another reason as to why I feel that it's initiation into truth and exposing belief or self-deception, I feel that, again, with Neptune, with Jupiter, it's in Scorpio, of course, and it's going to be trining Neptune in Pisces. I feel that this is where we get the opportunity, and this is where, again, how I can see that connecting to the shadow of our beingness can be similar to what I'm sharing here, which is that, you know, whenever you have a situation in your life where emotional dynamics have become too toxic, or that complexes or experiences have been repressed to the point in which they have now, you know, grown into mold, or that are no longer supporting your growth anymore, that are becoming, again, I will use the word toxic here specifically. Well, this is how I see this connection between Neptune. I feel that there's an intense purification that's going to be taking place. And I feel that because of this cleansing process, this purification process, I feel that when we see what is available for us, we're probably going to be confronted with a lot of experiences that remind us of where there are aspects of our psyche or emotions, particularly, that have become moldy, okay, that have become, you know, stagnant. And we need to stir that up and then move that energy out of us so that we can rinse ourselves. You know, Neptune's all about purification. Pisces is all about purification. And so with Jupiter making a trine to Neptune, this is where we get the opportunity to really clear out a lot of the stuff that limits us from knowing our potential and our truth, and keeping us in the cycle of self-deception, you know, where we hold truth about and belief systems about things that are essentially keeping us away from knowing deeper commitments and deeper intimacy with life. And I think that that's the key here: deeper intimacy with life. through liberating ourselves from the self-deception. Okay. All right, guys. So like I said, this video is now Jupiter in Scorpio. Like I said, it's from October 2017 up until 2018. And now I'm going to go through the Jupiter through the houses. Let's see if my slide works over here. Let's have a look. Okay. All right. So Jupiter in the first house of the astrological charts. There's a really specific reason as to why I chose that glass rose, by the way. I felt that with Jupiter in Scorpio, we will get this potential and this opportunity for us to really explore and see our essence grow if we're willing to realize that there's a rite of passage. Okay, there's a rite of passage to what is beautiful, what is essential. I don't believe that if you come onto this plane and you experience and see the beauty in life, that it comes through just being given to you. I think that there is an aspect of life that must occur disillusionment. I think that there is an aspect of life that must incur the experience of exposing beliefs that are self-deceptive. And going through that rite of passage and dealing with the separation that the psyche has through duality and finding union and returning to a space of, of bliss, that process must include a rite of passage. It must include an experience of dissolving the ego and realigning the ego with a higher, or not higher, but maybe a more holistic integration, And so to me, this rose that is encased with this glass over here, this glass rose, is the process in which life is delicate. Life is not something that if you truly want to experience the beauty, it does require a sense of grace. It does require deeper, subtle, more emotions that are harmonic and that are holistic. And there's a sense of honoring life and its beauty to be able to truly see it. And I think that with Jupiter through Scorpio, if we truly wanted to know the beauty from our own life process, that we do need to break away from the psychology and emotional complexes and attachments to things that are symbolized things in the past that no longer serve us anymore, and to let them go, and to really see that rose that's there in that picture as the purpose, as the journey, as the opportunity for us to really expand into that. I hope that I'm really capturing your imagination here in terms of this picture on the left hand side, because I really feel, sorry, right hand side, because I already feel that it means something to me, especially with regards to the initiation into truth and this process of rite of passage. And it's not given to us. You don't, it's like, hey, here's it. There is an element of work. There is an element of emotional growth that must take place. Okay. So for everybody that's got Jupiter transiting your first house of your astrological chart, okay, this applies to you. And again, some of you might have Jupiter in your first house, and then you have Scorpio moving into your second house, right? So I'm sure that you're clever enough to know that if Jupiter's in your first, if Scorpio is ruling your first and second house, then you would watch, you would listen to first house and second house, because of course this will be affecting you in those two houses, okay? So if you have, again, like I said, you've got Scorpio at, say, 0 degree Scorpio starts halfway through your first house and ends halfway through your second house, and Jupiter's now in Scorpio, it applies to you here, okay? And then it also applies to the second house, so watch the second house too, and going around the zodiac, okay? All right, so Jupiter in the first house of the astrological chart, right? We're dealing with, firstly, the letting go and the dissolving of prior psychological and emotional attachments that have symbolized a truth to you that no longer has reference anymore, okay? That there is a need now in order to establish and be very spontaneous in finding the new direction, okay? So for you, this is a double emphasis. For you that's got Jupiter transiting your first house, this is an opportunity to invest in exploring new avenues around a cosmology, around a truth, exploring different philosophies, different perspectives, and seeing which one really resonates with you. I think that this is the key word here, resonates. What is the truth that you're exploring that has bringing you a new perception of reality, a new interest, a new curiosity, a new sense of enthusiasm, okay? So I know somebody that's got Jupiter transiting their first house, and this is exactly what they're doing. And this is healthy because it gives the opportunity to process the potential of opening up to new ways of looking at the world and a new cosmology and a new belief system, okay? Pardon me. All right. So Jupiter transiting the second house of the astrological chart. With you over here, remember that Neptune is trining this Jupiter. So we're dealing with the relationship to your essential needs, okay? This is a very important time for you to begin to analyze what core, like, belief systems that you've had internalized in the past, psychological and emotional attachments to any belief around survival, around psychological statement, feelings of scarcity, psychological feelings of needing to be immensely resourceful, and now all of a sudden coming to realization that maybe that's limiting for yourself. In other words, you can sort your own things out, you don't need anybody else, but now this is kind of leaving you in a situation where there's an opportunity to open yourself up to others, to open yourself up to the potential of sharing your resources with other people, and how different ways in which with people can value different things. And here's an opportunity here to grow around what are your new needs, what are your new values, and how do those fit into the current overall structure of your life. So for you, what was Saturn doing between 2012 and 2015 for you? You know, how was your life during that period of time regarding finances and abundance and money? Well, Jupiter moving through the second house now really brings you the opportunity to grow your finances, to grow your abundance, to expand upon what you are already feeling resourceful about. And your relationship to your body, I think that this is a very big key here. What is the relationship to your body like? And how are you, connected with your body, and how those resources being met with inside of yourself? What types of foods do you eat, as an example? What is your relationship like to honoring your own needs? Again, to the body, okay? So this is a great opportunity to learn about your health, to learn about your needs, to expand upon those things. I would look at something called nonviolent communication as an example. I would look at into what your diet is like, and how your body is being nourished. I would look at your sleeping patterns. I would look at how does your routine start during the day, etc. How much self-worth you give to yourself. Do you have still layers of shame and belief systems that have been psychologically imprinted on you? These are the types of things that I'd be thinking about with Jupiter in the second house, okay? All right. So let's go into Jupiter in the third house of the astrological chart. So we're dealing with exposing beliefs and self-deception around maybe attachments to other people's opinions of things, dealing with certain ways in which language in the past has been the way that you've communicated and now probably feels a bit limiting. So I highly encourage you with this transit to step into a space where you're learning a lot more about something that you find interesting. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of mental activity with this type of transit, a lot of opening up, a lot of curiosity, a lot of digging deep into things. Again, like I said, watch what happened between 2012 and 2015 to really see the dynamics that are associated with language, communication, expression. If you felt that during this period of time you were being educated with Saturn about how communication works, Jupiter is really going to give you the opportunity to expand your mind share even more. Maybe this is a great time to write that book. This is a great time to, begin your website or your articles or whatever it is that you feel that you want to say, this is the time to expand upon that. But you probably will be confronted with certain belief systems and ideologies that are linked with not giving yourself that potential or that opportunity. And so this is a time to liberate yourself from those things. Okay. Cousins, family members, etc., maybe even your siblings. This would be a great opportunity to connect with your brother or sister. If there is some, stuff around in your life that hasn't given you that opportunity, this would be a great opportunity to do that. Okay. All right. Jupiter transiting the 4th house of the astrological chart. Again, we're dealing with here with the expansion of your sense of identity, okay? The expansion of your home and what symbolizes to you home. What is nourishment? What are the psychological and emotional complexes around feeling safe? And where do you come home to every single day of your life that really gives you a sense of, I can relax in this place. I'm nourished here. I can really just let go of all of the attachments to what is supposed to be, or my work, or whatever the sort, and just kind of sit back and relax and allow your body to regenerate. This is also an opportunity to go on a travel, to go and explore different ways and different lands and how people live and what they constitute their home. And to really look into these dynamics. Again, you'll notice that during this transit, there will be the potential to probably want to remodel your home, or look at again, like I said, what resonates with comfort within the context of your home. You might even decide to buy a home, for instance. This would be, again, what's going to be occurring here. But there are a couple of dynamics, like, for instance, dealing with any causal, like core attachments or truths that are linked with holding you back. This regarding the home, regarding a sense of identity, who you are, how you see yourself. These are all going to be changing for you within the next year or so. Big changes there for you. All right, Jupiter in the 5th house of the astrological chart, right? So what we're dealing with here is the expansion of your creative gifts. What is your destiny? What have you believed that you felt you've come here to do? And how is this transit going to really support that ongoing process of opening yourself up to new horizons, new potential to be creative and seen and recognized in a big way? So part of the story with Jupiter in the 5th house is to let go of some of the psychological and emotional complexes that are around childhood, especially being a child, and how you were maybe validated or not validated. Most likely, if you weren't being validated, you would probably need to confront some of those early life imprints of maybe childhood abandonment, and just kind of let go of anything that stops you from feeling like you can be seen or heard. So this is a great opportunity to, like I said, invest in your marketing ability, to tell the people that you exist. If you want to launch your business, this would be a great time because you'd be recognized and seen. And it's about developing your passion. It's about really stepping into your creative gifts and allowing yourself to truly be free with what you consider to be creative, consider to be that brings inspiration and aliveness to you. Okay? All right. So Jupiter transiting the 6th house of the astrological chart. And what we're dealing with here, again, is any psychological and emotional complexes that are rooted with feelings of self-worth. Now, there's a difference between self-worth in the Taurus energy and self-worth in the Virgo archetype. The Virgo archetype feels more like a sense of there's more to do. I can never get it. I'm never going to be able to fulfill whatever requirements there are. So it's always going to be wrong. It's always going to be lacking. Let's say that it's always going to be lacking. Oh, well. Now, this is with Jupiter moving through the 6th house. There's an intense purification around what you not only consider to be the truth for yourself, but also how any of those belief systems and cosmologies have really felt or given you the ability to feel that you can be healthy in your body, and that your self-worth is linked with an ongoing step-by-step process of growth, right? It's like, okay, today I'm going to expand here. Today I'm going to try out over there. This is where I'm going to grow today. That's where I'm going to put the values and the effort. Virgo is such an archetype about value and the effort, and it's absolutely essential with these symbols to give yourself that opportunity to feel more competent and to make necessary steps that allows yourself to grow emotionally, but also gives yourself freedom to feel like you can be in the flow. Virgo is all about being able to create flow through any bumps or any experiences, potential crises that could occur in which you get shortchanged. So this is a great opportunity to really step into the potential for self-improvement. Okay. Jupiter transiting the 7th house of the astrological chart. Okay, this is a very, very important thing here. With 7th house transit, you're going to be looking at all cosmological attachments and truths that have linked with past relationship complexes and what has constituted fairness to you or not. And how you formed yourself in relationships or not. So here, there's a potential to open up to new social experiences, to really expand your horizons around what people you know and how those people can be helping you get what you need and how you can help other people with what they need. And it's learning about yourself through other people. And I think with Jupiter transiting your 7th house, here's the opportunity to learn about yourself through other people by being, and I think the energy is just going to pull you out anyway. It's, you want to be social, you want to go out there, you want to expand your horizons, you want to meet more people, speak to new people, etc. And so this is a great opportunity to learn what fairness is, what equality is, and you might even experience things of extremes during this time, because again, with Jupiter moving through your 7th house, you will be learning about the extremes in things, the polarities in things, being polarized. So I wouldn't be surprised if you come across certain relationships that haven't been resolved that will now come into your life, either for review or for a kind of closing chapter event, and also just initiation of a new direction, basically a new social construct, a new sense of who am I, and being able to initiate your life through that sense. Okay, so Jupiter through the 8th house of the astrological chart. What we're dealing with here is the experience of really, really getting committed on things. As Jupiter moves through 8th, it invites you to really merge with what has been lying at the depth of your psyche, and how have those like psychological and emotional imprints been either empowering you or disempowering you. So this is a very intense thing. If you've got Jupiter transiting your 8th house while in Scorpio, you're really going to be dealing with a lot here when it comes to Jupiter and Scorpio in the 8th house. This is a very, very big transformational time for you, and I think that you're really going to come out of this transit at the end feeling immensely renewed and revived. But I also think that it's just going to be a great time in which you're really, really going to get through a lot of core karmic complexes that no longer support your life anymore, that no longer help you move through these dynamics. And I think that this is a great opportunity to really give yourself the potential to understand the psychological and emotional underlying complexes that are around this, and to bring them to the surface for them to be acknowledged and purified through. Okay, so lots of things about fear and abandonment and betrayal and those things, and just really kind of like allowing yourself to watch this transit really bring out from the depths of your psyche purification. Because of course, if you've got Neptune transiting, if you've got Jupiter transiting your 8th house, not every single person, but most of you will probably have Neptune in your 12th. And this can be a big deal because, again, it's a double whammy of truly letting go of whatever is no longer working for you, and how you've been disempowered in the past, and what belief systems that that have been attached to that supports deception, and not really being able to initiate yourself into truth of what it is to be you. Okay, so Jupiter in the ninth house of the astrological chart. This is a nice placement to have, because at the end of the day, although I do say that, it's pretty interesting, because I consider this transit also to be a very scary one now that I think about it. I just recently went through this transit, not particularly through with Scorpio, but when Jupiter transits the ninth house, there's an invitation. There's a deep psychological and emotional invitation to be confronted by what you considered to be the truth, what you considered to be what you thought you knew as the totality. And now that Jupiter comes along, it kind of like goes, well, there's more out there. You know that there's more out there, and it questions your own belief systems. It questions your own cosmology of what you thought was true. And now, while you interact with this, it can be a great time of confusion. So on one level, like I said, when I Jupiter transit the ninth house being a great transit, it does bring you a new whole entire world in which you can see life through. But it can also challenge any attachments, security attachments to a truth that you're holding on to that symbolizes a feeling of safety, like I said. And it will really confront that. It will really bring you to a place of realizing that there is a lot more to the scene of life than what we think it is. And this transit will really open you to understand this. So this is where I encourage you to, be open to certain things. And whenever you do get threatened by new information, bringing you things that you thought were true, to just like allow yourself to be okay with that. Allow yourself to go through that crisis of going, okay, I know it's difficult to accept that maybe this is what I thought was true now. There's some new evidence that feels that it isn't anymore, or it is more to expand upon. Okay. All right. So Jupiter transits the 10th house of the astrological chart. Remember, this is all through Scorpio. So Jupiter, if you've got Scorpio in your 10th house cusp, or if you've got Jupiter in your 10th house while Scorpio is there, we're dealing with these complexes. Here, this is a wonderful opportunity to really see that this is an expansion of life direction, an invitation to look at any truths or perceptions of truth that you felt that you hold on to that have been what you've considered your life direction. And I think that with Jupiter transiting here, there's going to be a big expansion within what you perceive success to be, and purpose and sense of maturity and meaning. But there is also an invitation to see that what you considered to be what line of work or what you felt you wanted to do, there's a new adventure awaiting for you. There's a new direction. And if you take that leap of faith, if you allow yourself to experience that, there's a great opportunity for you to see your career expand in a very big way, and your sense of life direction expand in a very big way. So, dealing with psychological and emotional attachments, belief systems to responsibility, and all these things, this is the time where you can liberate yourself from a lot of those and really find purpose and meaning through who you are and what you are. Okay. So Jupiter transit the 11th house of the astrological chart. Again, what we're dealing with here with Jupiter in the 11th house is letting go of all attachments, psychological and emotional complexes that have once symbolized what groups you belong to, how those groups have symbolized your sense of identity, like-mindedness. You might find yourself seeing that certain friends groups no longer support that cosmology or that belief system. And now this is an opportunity to let go of that and to really see your life unfold in a new way, where new friends or new cosmologies or new like-minded people come into your life. And this is a time to really see an expansion within your vision. With Jupiter transiting the 11th house, your visions about what you see for your future, what you see for what you would like to do, what are your ideas. This is a wonderful transit to really open yourself up to seeing what no longer supports you, what community you connected with, and how they are either alignment with your belief systems or yours are becoming outdated with that, and kind of finding yourself aligning with new groups, new group dynamics, and enjoying the potential for new friends, new ideas, new perceptions, and really being free, So this is a great opportunity to objectify your belief systems and to see where do you belong within that context. And finally, along our little happy wheel over here, we get to Jupiter transiting the 12th house of the astrology chart. And again, with Jupiter and Scorpio in the 12th here, we're seeing a culmination. Okay, this is where you get the opportunity to really truly align yourself with deep psychic intuition, the ability to really have your dreams come into reality in a very profound way. And you might find yourself actually experiencing a lot of your dreams through a lot of wisdom. This is a very powerful transit, but it's also another transit in which there's a deep surrender. There's a surrender to an entire evolutionary cycle. And I know a couple of people that have actually had this transit happen in their lives. And, when they initially started this transit and when they finished this transit, the metamorphosis that had taken place with Jupiter moving through the 12th was actually pretty profound. And for you, I feel that with anybody that's got this transit, that there's already, how do I put this across? It's like as you start to begin to have your belief systems unravel, you'll start to notice that what you once considered to be and held as the totality of your truth now becomes something that either you don't believe in, or progressive healing takes place, where there's an immense amount of self-acceptance and self-love and compassion, and really clearing out your psychic basin. I think that with 12th house stuff here, there's a really powerful opportunity to really get aligned with what is meaning to you, and how does your life get influenced by that deeper meaning. And I think with transit here, with Jupiter transiting, it's going to be an immense amount of healing. There's going to be an invitation to really see your cosmology align with a very profound and deeper sense of purpose. And I also think that this transit will bring you closer to the source of again, like I said, like meaning, and it's not something that I can really ascribe to. It's not a feeling that I can really articulate. It's more of a inner relationship that gets formed during this transit, that you just look at life with such innocence and you see it for what it really is. And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity to really get connected with that meaning, so that when Jupiter moves out of your 12th house and all of that, psychic stuff and unclarity becomes clear, that deeper essence of personal meaning becomes the driving force behind what this new life could be. Because you must remember that when Jupiter moves into your first house, there's a new cosmology that will be arising, or a new actioning of those cosmologies. Okay. All right, everybody. I really hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this Jupiter through the houses transit. Once again, I would really like to highlight to you that this was intended for you to process Jupiter through the house. And of course, then Jupiter, as it links up with Neptune. Remember, Jupiter's trining Neptune, so that's why I said exposing beliefs of self-deception. And also, again, like I said, with Jupiter through Scorpio, that this is an invitation for us to regenerate our enthusiasm, purpose and meaning, and really put energy into something that really grows us. And this is like where, when Saturn was moving through Scorpio, there was this potential for us to set up the right kind of ground, the right kind of soil. And now when Jupiter's coming along, it's like giving us some seeds that are going to become a beautiful flower bed. And now we're sowing the seeds into the soil that has been laid. And through this year, we're really, really going to grow in a very profound way. And I think that with each of us, wherever Jupiter lands in your chart, this is where it's going to be manifesting for you. So that's the intention of today's video. Don't forget to watch the 3-month forecast on my YouTube channel. In the comments below is the link towards that. And also don't forget to watch your Mars-Venus transit through the houses as well, so that you can make the connection between where your Jupiter's happening, where your Mars and Venus is happening, and where's the mutation going to be taking place in December. Don't forget that I also offer 35-minute MP3 and MP4 readings on these transits. So if you want my personal synthesis regarding your karma, I can do that. Just contact me or email me, raisingvibrations.sv@gmail.com. Again, you can PM me via YouTube. You can contact me on Facebook with Raising Vibrations. You just type in Raising Vibrations Astrology on Facebook, or just write to me in the comments, and I'd be and we'd be able to set up a thing or a live session, or any of the other services that I do offer that helps you synthesize that. In other words, using my own profession as a way to help you process this reality. Okay. All right, for everybody, thank you so much for listening to this transcription, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week and a wonderful, beautiful Jupiter through Scorpio transit, even though it's going to be a little bit tough. So it's not all beautiful roses. It's going to be a little bit of initiation into truth and, the sacred rites, but this is where we're going with this process. Okay. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.